Welcome to another tying session, and first of all, apologies for only posting another video now. I've been very busy with on the commercial side of fly tying with new patents and increase in production. We've had a huge increase in demand for flies since the end of lockdown last year, since about August, and it's just not stopping. So I've been working on training people and working on some new patents and all that sort of stuff. But I am back, and I'm going to start with the Elk Hair Caddis, which is a very simple fly to tie, although there are a few very important things that one needs to look out for. And I'm going to do two videos. This one is just the traditional Elk Hair Caddis, but the difference on this one from the traditional is that I'm tying it with Klipspringer, which instead of the normal elk hair where the name comes from. Now on the commercial side, this is Klipspringer. On the commercial side of tying, we don't use elk hair, we use normal deer hair because it's just too difficult to get elk hair. And elk hair is quite a bit more expensive, and it will make the fly more expensive, and it will deer hair is doing exactly the same job, provided you're using a coarser deer hair and not the very fine deer hair. Now with this, the materials you're going to need, I'm tying it on a grip 11001 dry fly hook. This is a size 12. There are various hooks that you can tie it on. I'm using an 80 grip thread, tan color. I'm going to tie the abdomen with a ginger trilobal dubbing, which is a very fine synthetic dubbing. The hackle is a whiting hackle. I only use whiting hackle for my dry flies, and the wing will be Klipspringer. Now, and apologies for the noise in the background. That's my 3D printer working on a project that I'll hopefully be able to share with you in the next 3 to 5 months. Now, you cover the hook shank and all the way to about the barb of the hook. Don't go down the bend of the hook. You tie your hackle in there, and then take the dubbing and just roll it onto the thread. It's just a normal roll-on dubbing. It's the way you apply the dubbing to the thread, and you just cover a couple centimeters very thin. Always apply the dubbing very thin. That is very important, because you want a thin abdomen. I've often seen, and especially on a beginner's, when you look at beginners tying, they try to put too much dubbing on, and dubbing should be applied very thin. And then you just wrap that around the hook forward. The abdomens of a caddisadult are very thin, and you need to keep this very thin. You can taper it a little bit towards the front, and you're going to leave a small space between the abdomen and the eye of the hook. And you can taper that a little bit, but it must remain thin. Just like that. Now the hackle, very important. You can use different color hackles as well, depending on the variation of a caddis that you want to imitate. I quite often use Cree, which is like a mottled color, a variation of browns and tans and gingers. And the hackle must be, you can see when I wrap it, I like to use a hackle that's shorter than the gape of the hook. For the simple reason that where we fish this, I like the hook point to be exposed a little bit more and to break the surface of the water. Now, we use Elk Hair Caddises extensively on Sterkfontein Dam, where we fish for yellowfish with dryflies, crystal clear waters. And there are various variations of Elk Hair Caddises that we tie depending on the conditions that we fish or what we try to achieve on the water. But the traditional Elk Hair Caddis is one of those important dries that you can't go without on Sterkfontein and many other waters for trout and yellowfish in South Africa. You wrap that, make sure the wraps are evenly spaced, and then you tie that off in the front right there. Now make sure that is nice and secure. The wing will be Klipspringer, and something that I've often seen happen when guys tie Elk Hair Caddis is that they tie the wing too thick, which makes the fly look very bulky. Now I tie two variations when it comes to the wing. I tie some with thicker wings or more denser, bulkier wings, and some with very sparse wings. Now I personally, when I fish it as an Elk Hair or as a caddis imitation, I like a sparser wing, but I often tie them with a denser wing, and I tie rubber legs in them to imitate small hoppers, and that is when a denser wing works very well. And you can tie fine rubber legs on the sides, and that imitates a very, very nice little hopper that is very successful on many waters as well. Now I use a hackle stacker to get the ends of the hackle or deer hair stacker, rather hair stacker, to get the ends of the hair together. And I'm going to have to put it back in there. I need to get the shorter hair out. And I use various stackers depending on the size of the fly that I tie. I've got a little tapered stacker that works very well when you tie small flies. This is just a normal brass stacker. Now you'll see the wing is not very thick or very dense. It's kind of a sparser wing, and when you tie that on, you tie it about the same length as the hook shank or as the hook. And when you tie deer hair, I'm not a great deer hair tyer. If you look at some guys tying, like they're very, very good with deer hair, tie one wrap and slowly pull it tight. Remember, using a thin thread, so you can't go and pull hard on that thread. And make another wrap and pull it a little bit tighter. And with every wrap, you pull a little bit tighter until you've kind of secured it on the hook shank. And make a few wraps to get those two pieces of hair out of the way there. And lift that up. There, I'll break the thread again and just salvage that quickly. What I normally do is when I break the thread, just as a quick tip, grab the end on the hook in a hackle plier and just let it hang there while you thread the bobbin again. And I'm going to start underneath the hook here, just to make sure I get the thread on the hook and secure it on the hook, and then go to the area where you want to tie it, to tie that other piece of thread off. Do. Okay, and you separate the ends because it's flaring. It often mixes the ends together, and you just slowly tighten that, and then take the thread forward and tie it off there. I'm going to tie it off with a whip finish. I don't like to tie the thread off over the deer hair. I like to tie it off on the hook shank, so I always tie it off under the wing, like a whip finish under the wing. You can even put a bit of varnish on there if you don't trust your own knots. And grab a needle, stick it in there, tie that off. Now I'm going to do another one. It's the quality of the materials are very important. It's with any dry fly. You need to use good quality hackle. You need to use good quality deer hair. You need to use good quality dubbing, and then you will get a good quality dry fly. Now the wing, you cut the deer hair in the front. Just pull all those ends together and just cut it at an angle. And that is the Elk Hair Caddis, or well, in this case probably a Klipspringer caddis, but it's exactly the same tying sequence as the Elk Hair Caddis. I wouldn't call it anything else. And a very good dry fly. Now in the next video, I'll post a link below as well. I'll show you two variations of the Elk Hair Caddis that I personally like to tie and that I prefer to fish on crystal clear water, especially to difficult fish, or especially to our yellowfish. That works very well. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and please comment. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.